everyone. It is day 6 of Spooktacular. Guys, we're surviving. Yay. So hey everyone, I'm Amy and I will be your host for today. So before we fully get started with the show, big news. We got something back from the dead. Dun dun dun. So today we have the STAP, the STAP and Battle Droid 6 scale figure that is back in stock. So you just have to head to side.show/backfromthedead to get it right now. Okay. Also, something else that is pretty important to know, make sure that you stay logged into your Sideshow account so that the reward codes can be entered quickly and efficiently. Okay, so enough talking. Let's get to more talking, actually. Okay, so we have some wonderful guests today with us. Please help me welcome Casey Love and Jerry Foote. Yay! Let's clap some more.
What's up?
Hey, guys. So you are a couple of employees here, and I heard that you love Halloween, which is great because we'll be talking all about that. But before we get started, guys, we will be taking a live Q&A later on, so make sure that you submit your questions to Bree in the chat right now. Okay, so let's chat. Okay, so you've both been on the show before, but for people that haven't seen you, tell us exactly what you do here at Sideshow.
Let's start with Casey.
I'm a painter in-house at Sideshow, and I get to paint all kinds of things creepy, and as well as superheroes and stuff like that. So yeah.
I work in next to his department is the mold and cast department.
Wow.
So we get to create the prototypes that will then get passed on to get painted and then mass produced. So I get to work with all the fun details and get everything ready to get then mass produced. And so it's fun. It's a very fun job, and we get to work in tandem and ask each other questions and things like that. And I have a huge respect for this man right here because I want to grow up to be like Casey.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, I'm still young at heart, you know.
That's the way to be. That's where we are. That's why we like Halloween so much.
That's right.
Yeah. Well,
Big kids, right?
Yeah.
Big kids.
Before we get into that, how long have you guys been here?
I technically, been in-house 4 years now almost, but I technically go way back to like 2007 with Sideshow, where I did some freelance painting on and off throughout the years. So I've had a relationship with Sideshow for many years, and then full-time in-house. So like I think I'm going on my 4th year now, which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm going on 4 years too in March. It'll be 4 years that I've been with Sideshow.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Okay,
and
so
we started my 5th year.
already, yeah.
It'll be the first start of the 5th year in March. So
Wow. That's
hard to
awesome.
believe.
I know, time
It's
flies.
great though. Wouldn't want it any other way.
Exactly. We love it here, and I'm pretty sure everyone watching also loves it here. Hi. Okay, so first I do have to address the t-shirts you're both wearing. Can we talk about them?
Sure.
And then we'll fully delve into your favorite part of Halloween. Tell us, where did you get these shirts? What do you love about them?
Who's this?
Geek out.
I don't wanna
Well,
mess up.
I'll tell you guys.
Wait. Who's this? Who's this?
Oh,
This
I don't want to mess up anything.
See. I don't see a
Fry
tag.
rags?
I
Oh,
don't see a
It's
tag.
alright.
No
I
tag.
forget.
hey, sometimes,
I buy from
sometimes
so
it's
many t-shirt companies.
Same.
I'm going to hit them all. I'm going
Yeah.
to give them all props.
Yeah.
So describe your t-shirt.
All right, so I'm wearing a Halloween 3. Actually, I just remembered. Where did I get this from? I got it wasn't Fry Rags. It was Paul Bearer Press, I believe.
Oh.
And yeah, this is an awesome t-shirt. Glows in the dark, actually.
Yes,
which
I
is
knew
pretty
it.
rad. Let's turn the lights off. Can we do that?
What, really?
Watch, it doesn't
Ooh.
work. It didn't work.
It's
I
all right.
lied. All right. Well,
We'll
it does.
take your word
But
for it.
anyway,
It's glowing now.
Halloween 3. If you know anything about Halloween movies, which if you don't like Halloween 3, then all right, we can't be friends. But,
I do.
You know, it's
I
all
love
good.
Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween 3 is one of my
Yeah.
favorites,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that's it. I know it has nothing to do with Michael Myers, but I'm a mask guy, so if you know who I am, you know why I love that movie so much. You know, it's all about
Yeah.
the mask making and stuff. But yeah, I love it. It's got the witch skull pumpkin. It's got the 3 behind it. I love it.
I like that sound effect too. What about your shirt?
My brother Joey gave me this one last year. It says, "You can't sit with us," and it has Edward Scissorhands, Beetlejuice, and Jack the Pumpkin King.
Wow.
And it's just one of my favorites because I'm a huge Tim Burton fan. So I just love it because it's one of those where I think to myself, well, am I worthy enough to sit with these guys? So.
Oh, of course you are. Okay, so guys, let's talk about your favorite part of Halloween, which I know for me, if someone asked me that question, I'd be like, are you crazy? Like, I can't just pick like one thing, but I'm asking you to pick one thing now.
Okay.
Ooh, tough. My favorite thing, I'm going to have to just say, for me personally, the preparation in a way. And well, let me back up. I got to take that back.
Okay.
Just taking my kids trick-or-treating. That has to be
Aww.
that has to be it. That's the topper because I get to see their excitement and everything there. Yeah.
Oh, that's so
Preparation
beautiful.
will go
Grab your
second,
tissues. What about you?
I think for myself, I think it's the dressing up part. Ever since I was a kid, I love to dress up for Halloween. That's why I really got excited about Halloween. So I love I like scaring the teeny boppers when they come to trick or treat. So that's always a highlight.
So
but
be
I like
careful.
to be so be careful. But no, but I do enjoy the kids' perspective. My children looking at Halloween in their eyes and getting excited about their costumes. So it's a family event, you know. So
Yeah, I like the preparation of it too because it's
like Christmas almost. Huh? You're
Yeah,
like getting ready
it's
for it and then ready.
Yeah.
it's different though. I mean, yeah, it's that thing he just said. You know, when I was a kid growing up, you know, and you know, I'd go to the Halloween costume store with my parents and see these masks. You know, I mean, it was like magic somehow. And then, you know, you could put that thing on and become that character. That's magical. And I said that in my artist profile, funny enough, but that's true. That's just what it is, and that feeling's never left me. You know, and then why I say the preparation is because when I'm making a new mask or I'm doing something like that, you know, whether it's for me or my kids or whatever, that excitement of pulling that out of the mold and making that thing and then turning them into the character and just being spooky and having fun and scaring other people and going around. It's just that whole thing, the vibe leading up to it, watching horror movies. You know, it's like I got to watch a horror movie every night leading up to Halloween.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Like 31.
We all are, yeah.
Yeah, it's a tradition. Like you have to.
Yeah, there's certain movies that we watch every year.
Okay,
Just,
which ones?
I watch Sleepy Hollow, Beetlejuice.
Yes.
What else? Edward Scissorhands.
Edward. Okay.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah. Nightmare
what
on
else?
Elm Street.
You got Elm Street, the Freddy.
I mean, come on.
But you got
I
Halloween.
go back to 70s stuff, you know,
Okay,
and
bring
start,
it.
you know,
What?
I mean, I'll watch Halloween, of course.
Yeah.
I'll watch Halloween 3 and stuff like that. But I mean, I'll watch just obscure stuff. I'll watch stuff like Fulci stuff. I'll watch. Not necessarily just, you know, Halloween themed movies, but I'll watch anything from 70s, 80s era. You know, I'll watch House. I'll watch Fright Night. I'll watch, you know.
Oh gosh, speaking of Fright Night, I'm scared. That really
Whoa.
terrified me. But this is big news, guys. Right now, this code below me that will pop up soon. This is only good from right now, 11:10 a.m. to 11:20 a.m. PST today, Tuesday, October 29th, 2019. I almost forgot the year. So make sure to head to your account or spooktacular.com to enter this code. Again, it is right there. It's 3P13EGN2. That sounded like I was going to start rapping. Okay, so just there was some laughs there, guys. I can rap. There's still some laughs. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so remember that. Next 10 minutes. Okay. Yeah, that really terrified me. But yeah, what point did you realize, like, wow, Halloween is amazing, and I think I'm in love with it, and I want to celebrate it hardcore every single year?
For me, I think it started when I was a kid, seeing my mom get into it, but it goes way back to my grandfather, who was he would have been one of your best customers because he was a very prominent doctor and very, you know, I mean, he had the means that he could go home every day after work and swing by the joke shop, but he would buy these masks and he would scare the maids in the house.
Oh my gosh.
He literally was,
Awesome.
but he loved to do it just out of sheer to get the terror out of them, and that bled to my mom doing that to her sisters and her family, and then doing it to us as kids, and then then passed the torch to us, who then passed the torch to the other kids. And so I've loved Halloween ever since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Growing up doing, putting on my own makeup and things, learning how to do it, self-taught, so that I could be another character.
Yeah.
Like Casey was saying, it's the one time where you can put something on and become another, thing, a creature or something scary or something funny. And I think that's really kind of enticed me as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to project something else, and so I got into costume making, I got into makeup and how to become something.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. I have a weird one like that too.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, not weird. I have a memory that's like I can't place if it was my dad or my older brother who it was, but I remember being taken out as a kid. I think I had like I just remember my costume being some orange, it was like a plastic jumpsuit type thing and like a plastic mask, the old school style. And I forget what the character was. It was probably some wolf man or something. And then they had like full wolf suits. And I think I might have even been just with a friend's dad and parents I went around with. Because I lived in this little area in Temple City called Village Circle Drive, which was, it's off main streets. It's like a little village of homes there that's private, kind of private like, and so you just walk around in there and everybody was trick-or-treating and it was pretty safe and everything, and you knew who all the neighbors were and stuff. But I have this real kind of vague memory of them being in these wolfman suits, and I think one might have been a gorilla or something. I thought it was a wolfman, I don't know, but it was that whole memory just stuck with me forever. And that's funny. I've asked my dad, like, "Hey, do you remember? Was that you that got in that suit? Like, who was that?" And I don't know. He's not remembering. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, it was like I remember it, and it was always just so cool to me. Like, whoa, this is awesome. So I just grew up around that stuff.
I think it's a culmination of things that mold you to steps.
Mold?
Yeah, it molds you into the character that you become or the person you are. Yeah, because there's another factor that when I was growing up, we had I had my cousin who would always have the coolest costumes. Makeup. One time he was Planet of the Apes, and another one he was a really cool Spider-Man one year. And I always looked at him like, I want to do stuff like that. I don't want to be a clown every time. My mom used to always paint a clown face because that's the only thing she knew how to do.
Yeah.
But it would alternate. Like it'd be like a clown policeman one year, a clown farmer one year, a clown. But it was like
that's something.
I was like, but the thing is, I didn't want to be a clown anymore.
Yeah.
Well, go figure that.
Yeah,
because it was Pennywise.
What'd you do last year?
I know.
Come on.
You clown?
I know, but I'm saying it was like I wanted to be more than that.
Yeah.
And so I saw those things, and then there was these kids down the street from us that were older.
Yeah.
3 of them. It's like the 2 kids that lived there and then their friend. They would always dress up as hunchbacks. And we called them the Hunchbacks. In fact, that's the name of the house that we refer to, the Hunchback House.
Whoa.
But it was on the corner, and they would literally dress up and scare all the neighborhood kids when they were going trick-or-treating, literally chase you back to your house.
Oh,
and
heck
we
no.
had, every year we looked forward to the Hunchbacks, and we were like, oh, the Hunchbacks, we're going to get ready for them. And they always had the coolest decorations out of their house. And those little things are stepping stones that get you to get really excited about. Because I think out of anything, it's the one time a year that you can be anybody you want to be and nobody looks at you sideways. Like, what are you trying to do? Because it's a pass to be be something,
You didn't even need to be, Halloween anyway to be in the mood anyway. Like when I was with friends all the time, we used to go, our parents would take us to, what was it, like Blockbuster? What was even before that? Like some kind of
Hollywood
video. Or mom and pop video store,
Yeah.
And I would rent, we'd always be renting like movies we probably weren't supposed to be renting, but they let us, Return of the Living Dead and, Day of the Dead and whatever. Nightmare on Elm Street. We'd rent all those movies and even when it wasn't Halloween season. But I have a weird one too. Like I used to go to a buddy's house when I was younger, and around October, leaves, would just drop like crazy, and we'd go skateboard through the leaves and just like slide through leaves, and you always just had that. But that was that lead in to like the sense of like, okay, Halloween's coming. And
it's your happy time.
Yeah, it is.
For me, in my family, we call it our happy time because this is like starting in the first part of October. All the way till the end of the year. It's the change of the season. you feel that
Yeah.
like an energy
Yeah.
coming in, and everybody. It's like I don't know how else to describe it
It's
except the
brand
happy
new.
time. This is
Yeah.
this is the time where we get to have a lot of fun during the year.
Yeah, but the only bummer that I'm seeing lately,
What?
and I don't get it, is and this is like a pet peeve of mine, is I cannot stand going into stores and there's Christmas stuff
Oh yeah,
staring
Yes.
at me,
Thank
and it's
you.
not Halloween
Yeah.
yet.
Yes, every
What are you guys
single
doing?
holiday in its time, like
Yeah.
October,
Yeah.
strictly Halloween. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but I'm not.
Yeah.
And
I know.
feel
Let each holiday have their time.
Please.
Yeah,
Yes,
please.
yeah.
There was
Back
a
off on
comic.
Christmas.
There was a comic strip I saw of there was a pumpkin. There was a jack o' lantern guy standing in line, and then there was a turkey, and then there was Santa Claus, and it was and the turkey says, "Get in line, fat boy." But it was like I was a
That's
nod
awesome.
to saying,
Yeah.
"Hey, let me have my time," but Halloween first and everything. But yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
We need to not rush the holidays.
exactly.
Yeah.
So let's keep talking about Halloween. Let's continue. So I know you were talking about horror movies and which ones you loved, but as someone that even like 3 years ago I couldn't even make it through any horror movies because I was so scared. I really feel like horror movies have had like a kind of like a renaissance in a way these last several years
Oh,
where
yeah.
people are becoming way more familiar with them, and now bring it on horror movies. Like I'm not scared anymore, but which ones did really terrify you when you were younger or now? It's okay, this is a safe space.
I don't remember ever being totally terrified to death. I think because I was
I do.
exposed. You probably I was exposed very early on. I can remember when I was 8 years old watching. I think it was Day of the Dead or Night of the Living Dead or Dawn of the Dead. A lot of those, and I was exposed to it. And I was into like the Misfits and punk music and all this stuff. And there's kind of like a connection there with zombie skeleton things. And I think I've just always been more curious, and I've always looked at monsters as more fascinating than scary. So I don't know that anything terrified me. I mean, disturbing, maybe a different story,
Because
Like
they can get
there's-
pretty gory.
There's some that, I mean, but then that's the thing. I'm not into personally. I'm not into we had that whole '90s era of these
Slasher movies.
I don't even know slasher torture.
Torture.
Tor-
yeah,
Which I'm
torture.
not
Oh.
into at all. Like I
Yeah.
can't get into
No.
that stuff. But
Just for the sake of
I'm not
being
into
gory,
torture
yeah.
There's
movies
no
and stuff.
point
But I'm
to
into.
it, yeah.
But I don't know that I've ever been super terrified. I think the one thing that's maybe freaked me out as a kid a little bit that got me was Poltergeist, if there was one.
Yeah.
Because I saw it when I was young in the movie theater, and then that seemed very real that that could be a thing. Like wow, So that one freaked me out a little bit if there was one. Yeah.
If I could say, the first horror movie I saw was Jaws. And it was, and you don't even think of it as being a horror movie, but me and my brother were down in the seats, because my dad was like, "Hey, you guys want to go see a shark movie?" And we're like, "Yeah, let's go." And
It'll be fun, they
yeah,
said.
that
Yeah.
was, but
That's
that
a good one.
That terrified me.
That's a good
Yeah.
one because my wife won't get in the water because of
yeah,
that.
and then,
Still
but
today.
the thing is, those memories stay with you.
Yeah.
But as you grow older, like I got into the Freddy, movies and things with my friend Vernell. Shout out to Vernell. But he and I would watch all the Freddy movies and get in costumes and stuff like that. But I know that later on, the things that scared me as an adult and still does is the creepy kids, saying funny, things that just are out of their nature as being cute. They might say something really off in the movie, and that messes with me.
So that's what gets. Well, I think it's funny
Like-
because from what you've talked about your family and what you like to do, you like to scare people. So if your kids are watching this,
Yeah, no,
you know how
the
to get 'em
creepy
back.
kids, when they say
Hey.
something funny mother, or they say something in the movie that
Yeah.
just is off-putting. That's, to me, is more scary than anything. Slasher movies doesn't do anything for
I
me.
tried
But-
to dress my kid up at 12 years old as
He
Exorcist,
came
but-
to
Oh,
one of our
okay.
parties with a scarecrow mask, and all he did was just stand there and just turn his head. That right there, when you don't know what's going behind
know it
that
was
mask,
me.
I didn't even know. I thought to myself, that kind of looks like Casey's stature, but who is that? And it was
Dang,
just
I love that.
messing with me, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once you're in that mask. You
Oh
just-
yeah,
you gotta
but it
become
just
the
that
character.
little head cock and
Yeah.
just like that stare. and no sound, just looking at you menacingly. Oh
takes.
yeah, it was the best.
I'll make sure to do that. I'll try to do that during the show and see
Yeah.
if you catch it. Then I'll scare you, huh?
We've
Get
made a
you
few
back.
kids cry, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Well,
Well,
they had it coming.
yeah.
Is that what
No. They just
Be
you know,
careful, guys.
Little kids, you know. They
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
you know, that's another thing. It's like, you know, I grew up in a day and age where, you know, you could wear a Halloween mask to school.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Now you can't.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
Yeah, they
it's
don't
not
let you.
allowed. And
Yeah.
so I'm, you know.
we used to have a parade going
Yeah,
all
yeah.
around
Yeah.
the
Oh, that's
Yeah.
fun.
Oh, we had a carnival thing after school. And,
Oh, that's
and It was
right.
awesome
Yeah,
because
we used
you'd
to
like
do face
you'd
paint.
reach into the thing and be wet spaghetti, and they're telling you it's
That's
brains.
gross.
And
No,
that's
no.
So,
Yeah.
I miss all that. Schools need to bring that
the
back.
grapes, peeling the grapes and saying there's eyeballs and things
Yeah.
like that. You know, just
Wow, that's so creative.
yeah.
Like I haven't ever had an experience with that.
Well, that was a generation
Yeah.
that we got to do
80s,
things
You know?
in the 70s and 80s that these kids today don't get
Yeah, I
because
go to school with a mask.
you know I was funny because I did my son's prosthetic mask one year, Planet of the Apes. You know, really
Yeah.
really nice job. We woke up really early in the morning. I did all this, sent him to school. They said you got to go home and take that off to come to school. Well, guess what? We just pulled him out of school that day because he got a free pass that day.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't about to take off 4 hours of makeup, you know?
No,
They're like,
that
they're
makes
telling
sense.
him, take off the mask. He's like, this isn't a mask. This is a prosthetic. You know, I can move my face. You know, they're like, it's a mask. No, it's
No, these people, I don't understand. They don't get it. But our audience understands, so we have some questions. First question, have you ever gotten a mold stuck together?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What do you do?
Freak out. No. You got to be that's when you got to have your most patience. I've locked them all together, especially when you're learning. Like
Yeah.
this is, you know, early on in my career when I'm talking masks here, and I've you know, maybe parted it too far to one side and locked it together. And of course, if it's a stone mold, that's, you know, you just have to have patience and work out the bust from underneath. Like basically, unfortunately, sometimes you run into situations if the bust is a rigid thing underneath that mold, you're gonna have to maybe break it apart a little bit. And yeah, but I mean, you know, you want to preserve the mold and everything that you've worked hard for. The bust can always be fixed. So those are times where you just gotta be patient. How about you?
Well, I haven't the experience of making my own masks like he does, but I have had experience where you have a glitch and when you're trying to do your makeup or you're trying to do something and you have to think fast and do something different. Happens all the time.
Yeah.
But I think that's where your creative juices and you just have to, the love that you have for what you're doing kicks in. And somehow it always works out. It always does.
You
You
know-
know, there's some ways to fix things.
And
you know?
here's the thing, I never sculpt masks on a rigid bust anymore just because of that purpose. And, you know, I mean, not because I want to lock it up, but like, you know, it's easier to have something flexible underneath or something slightly flexible versus like a stone plaster bust or something like that underneath. So I
Yeah.
always try to work on something, you know, or I work on a
Yeah.
styrofoam wig form sometimes just because you can melt that out of there. But anyway, yeah, it happens, you know, and it's
You
it's
learn
a learning curve, yeah.
Yeah.
Learn from
And
it.
sometimes the best things come at the last moment. Like you've been
Exactly.
preparing and you've been working on a costume or working on some kind of creature, things that you're trying to do. And it's that 9th inning of the game, just before Halloween, you know you got to get it done. And you are up that night doing a few things.
Oh my god.
The little magic that happens, I can't explain it other than it's like the Halloween magic.
Is that
takes-
magic or stress? I'm not.
I think
I would
it's
say
I think
it's a
it's
mix of
creative
both.
like magic juices that
Yeah,
kind of
but-
flow, and all of a sudden sometimes you see something that you didn't see
Yeah.
until the last minute. You go, oh, I can incorporate this thing into my costume, and it makes the costume go over the top.
I know
you know?
exactly what you're talking about because I'm there right now.
Next question for you guys. What is your favorite piece that you've worked on? Just one.
As far as like a sideshow piece, or like, are we
Let's do a
talking
sideshow
something
piece.
that we worked on
Sideshow?
together?
Yeah, let's do a sideshow piece.
Let's do.
Or anything.
All right. I mean, for
Whatever.
sideshow, for me, sideshow piece. One of the favorites that pops into my mind right away is Odium. You know, that piece was. Is he here? No,
The
he's not
big,
here.
the big dude.
Yeah, I think he just went up. Right? They just put something up on Odium.
He's like running.
Big old
Boom.
Core of the Dead,
Yeah.
over muscular, massive beast. That was just a lot of fun, that one. And it was right up my alley, especially with Tom wanting it in, you know, pale skin. I was like, ooh, that's what I love.
Yeah.
But Yeah, that, and then, as far as masks, that's hard for me to choose because, like I tell people, that's like choosing a favorite child, basically. I mean,
Yeah.
there's ones that stand out to me, but like I can't really pick one that's been my favorite. And I'm still on that like goal of making the best, coolest mask I can possibly make. So I just don't know if I've ever reached it yet. Still going there.
Gosh, it's hard to
Yeah.
there's so many cool things that we get to do that it would be, I would say one thing and then go, oh, I remember this one too, and I remember this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, because I go back and forth. I'm a huge fan of Marvel stuff.
Same,
So
me too.
I'll always pick a lot of Marvel stuff. But it's really, I think sometimes it's the challenging ones that I really enjoy because you remember those more.
Which
But
ones?
Thanos
actually?
was a really fun
Thanos.
one.
Oh.
Thanos was
He
really
got
fun.
you got to paint Thanos, didn't you?
Yep.
And I got to do stuff on Thanos that
Yeah.
we could say, like, I like doing the portraits on it because I'll sit and I really like the detail and that's a challenge for me. So I love doing that, but I like to be able to pass it on to someone like Casey and then have him paint it. It's great when I give it to him, but he brings it to life with the beautiful colors.
That's the funny thing about
So-
that one too. It's funny because like I didn't quite realize at the time
The magnitude.
the enormity of this thing.
He's a baby in a chair.
Not even just the size of him, the size of it being for, if you think about it in Sideshow's, looking at it from Sideshow's point of view, I was still pretty new here in-house full-time at the time that I did that. And I didn't quite realize that let me just say that the amount of fans out there looking forward to this thing. It
Yeah.
wasn't,
No
so
pressure.
I didn't have any pressure. I never felt pressured about it,
good.
which was probably a good thing because I was very much, we were kind of flying at, I don't want to say at the seat of our pants, but like the paint wasn't really established. I kind of did a lot of that on there, like establishing what it would be. And it was, I wasn't thinking at the time, like, my God, I'm making all these choices and I hope like these thousands of fans love this because if they don't, then what am I doing, So I was just sort of just going for it. And, and then of course in-house, I always feel the vibe with the people I'm working with that, we're all fans of this stuff and a lot of them have a lot of heavy knowledge on these characters, especially Thanos. And so if I'm hearing, they're happy and everybody's digging it, then that's a good sign right there.
Yeah.
So I just went by that, really.
Yeah. Well, as a Marvelite myself, I agree. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
And I feel like with Thanos, I don't know, I feel like if I saw him like really, really up close, I'd get kind of scared because you guys do such a fantastic job that, really brings them to life that I'd be like, okay, I'm going to just safely walk away from Thanos just in case he snaps, literally.
Yeah.
Final question for you guys. What was the most intricate piece you've been involved in making and the challenges? I know you briefly touched on that.
Do you want me to go first here?
Yeah, cool.
I would say the most intricate one and challenging one lately was Alien Estes.
Oh.
Yeah, and she's got a lot of parts. There was something like 70-something parts, times 2, mind you. So you're painting 2 of these with 70-something parts. There's just a lot of delicate things in there. Also, she's a female, which is not normally my game. That normally goes to Chi or Kat, who handle females so well. In fact, Kat did step in and we tag teamed it because it was the best way to go. So she did a lot of the skin and the faces and portraits, and I did all the dress and creepy stuff. But it was just it was a challenge, man. It just seemed like it was never going to end. And
I can imagine.
and I wasn't, and the other thing is, I was painting that one, and we had some reference on what we wanted, but like, still, even though you have some reference, it's not really how the final 3D piece is going to turn out exactly, and you shift colors here and there, and you try things, and you try to find the best road. But I mean, it's a challenging thing when you're trying to please everybody and make sure that you're doing it justice. So, yeah, that was a tough one that stands out in my mind, especially for this year.
Yeah. You survived.
Yeah,
Yay.
I'm here.
It's kind of hard to pick one because there's different challenges with every piece. And sometimes pieces don't fit well together. And as a 3D key artist, that we have to not only do make everything look perfect, we have to make sure everything fits together perfectly so that if everything's sitting correctly. So one I may be forgetting a really challenging one, but one that comes to mind is the Alice in Wonderland piece that we have, J. Scott Campbell. It's a very sexy Alice sitting on a toadstool-like mushroom, and Cheshire Cat's underneath, and it's a beautiful piece, but it's so intricate. Little areas where there's like little gaps, and you got to fill things, and you got to resculpt little areas that, on the surface looked right, and then when it got printed and got to our hands to get finished, we have to kind of fix things. And so but I love the challenge.
Yeah.
I love the challenge, and I love to be able to fix something and stand back and go, okay, I got it this way, and I fixed it to get this way.
Yeah.
And so now that piece is coming out, or has been out now, I think, right?
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful piece, and it's very intricate, and it's very beautiful, and in its own right.
And
so
that was painted by Chi.
and that was painted by Chi.
She
Yeah,
did an awesome job with that.
awesome job.
Well, and honestly, I feel like sitting here close to you guys and hearing all of that, I mean, obviously, I feel like our audience and people watching this in the future can really, really appreciate just all the effort and work and intense, like blood, sweat, and tears that really goes into this.
I think if people, that's the thing, I think if fans could really see as a fly on the wall, if we put it that way, I mean, they'd be amazed at the care and effort and thinking and planning that goes through each piece. I know we put out a lot of stuff, and it probably looks like, oh, it just magically comes out. Little elves make all this. But it's like...
Not
No,
here.
I mean, there's a lot of care,
a little
planning.
bit of every bit of us goes into the things that we do. So there's parts of us that are ingrained in there, because that's part of us is putting our little 2 cents into everything, So.
Yeah, we have a great team of artists, and not just artists here. I mean, a great team everywhere, for every department that works here cares about what we're doing, and it shows. I mean, that's the thing, Yeah.
Thank you guys for sharing a little part of that. It's been an honor talking to you guys. Again, thank you, Jerry and Casey, for joining us. So that's our show, guys. Let us know in the comments what you most look forward to on Halloween. And remember, sleep is for the weak. Bye.
Hey, did you like that video? Be sure to subscribe by clicking the S icon on your screen and click that bell icon to be notified whenever a new video is posted. If you'd like more info on the items featured in this video, click the link provided under Product Info. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to let your geek side show.